this might be a tough decision right now.
My
but
team
I'm
did
not just
absolutely
Some
garbage.
NFL games that were like,
Right.
whoa.
I actually don't
Had
understand.
a lot of mixed feelings. Welcome, Disgruntled. We have another guest here on the Legal Domains.
We're recording in
Oh,
progress.
we're going in.
We're jumping
Time
straight.
crunch.
Time crunch. This is the last day of my long hair. I got a haircut in an hour, in an hour and a half. But that's not what this podcast is about. This podcast is episode 117, 118, and we are going to be going over week 11, I believe it is. Yeah, we're going to be going over the week 11, which just happened this past weekend, and then we're going to be predicting the week 12 games, all of the games we're going to be going over
Of the
and
NFL.
of the NFL. And yeah, it's been an interesting week to say the least in the NFL. Tennessee Titans versus Green Bay Packers, in which I guessed the Titans and you predicted Green Bay.
Yeah, I think the Green Bay defense let me down because Titans should not be scoring that much, even with Derrick Henry. They made Ryan Tannehill look like Peyton Manning. That's what it seemed like to me, and that's no good. That cannot happen. For a while, the defense was like, maybe I shouldn't say saving grace of the Packers, but it was like at least consistent. You kind of knew what to expect. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm watching the greatest sport in the world right now.
We're getting some World Cup reactions.
France is destroying Australia as we speak. I'm talking 4-1 right now. Australia got ahead to like an early goal, but ever since then, France has just been on it. So yeah. Anyways, I don't want to talk about the Titans anymore because they already won the division. It's pretty clear, and I hate that. I hate that this keeps happening despite them not making any, real like tangible improvements to the roster over the past 3 years. In fact, I would say they got worse
Yeah.
in the past year, and yet the coaching, I mean, undeniable, great coach, and obviously Derrick Henry is a beast. Some great playmakers on the defense. But still, it shouldn't have to come down to this. They have just been cakewalking the division and then cakewalking any team that just doesn't prepare for them. And that's what I see from the Packers recently. They just aren't prepared for any team they play against. But it's hard not to prepare for an opponent like the Eagles in the upcoming week. So we'll see how that changes.
They're probably going to destroy the Eagles, but
We'll see.
before we move on, I want to say one crazy stat, which is absurd. Once Derrick Henry threw that passing touchdown, he had as many passing touchdowns as Kenny Pickett had for the entire season up to that point. I mean, he had one Sunday.
That's unfair.
He had one.
I don't like that stat.
Kenny
Pickett has nothing.
Yeah, but he's played for so many games.
Doesn't matter.
He has to have 25 passing touchdowns the last 3 games, or he's not a good NFL quarterback.
It's like the same thing on the other side, where it's like Ryan Tannehill had more rushing touchdowns last season than like however many running backs. Fucking Miles Sanders, right? Like, yeah, it's because of the fucking options they have. Like, they have the options to mix the defense up at the goal line. Like, Ryan Tannehill can just tap it in by going like sideways while everyone's focused on Derrick Henry. It's like, it's not the same. All right. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not the same.
I just thought it was a funny stat that they
I
both
hate
had 2 passing touchdowns up to that point.
I will not give Titans any more credit other than what I've already said. So shut up.
Titans are the best team in the league. They're going to. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But fuck the Titans. We hate the Titans on this show. Yeah. Let's move on to Chicago versus Atlanta Falcons. And yeah, you know what? We both predicted Chicago Bears, and we both got this wrong. But it makes sense that we got this wrong because we rooted against the Falcons. Every time we pick them,
Every time.
they always lose, and every time we pick against them, they always win.
Every time.
Every single time. So it only makes sense that we both pick the Bears and then the Bears lose.
It was a
But
close one. It was a close one. Shout outs to Cordarrelle Patterson for being the record holder now of kick return touchdowns, right?
Yeah, he's
That
at
that was a
9.
highlight. There were like no return touchdowns at all this season, and then there were like 2 to win the games this week. And I thought that was really interesting because like I seriously don't remember there being a return touchdown in the first 10 weeks of the season, and then back-to-back games it felt like this week. We saw them. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was a 103 yarder, which was crazy too, because I don't know. Yeah, I never really thought about like punt or kickoff returns, and I kind of forgot that you could actually do that in this league.
They're
But
electric.
yeah, it's
I
so
love
much
to
fun
watch
to
them.
watch. Yeah, especially like how much meaning that these both had was like insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Hopefully,
Chicago is now 3-8,
oh yeah,
which, given how like good Justin Fields has been, you would think they would have more wins here. But no. I feel like it's been very lopsided. Like either the defense fails Justin Fields or Fields fails the defense. He actually went into the locker room starting to apologize to the defense, and then defense was like, no, stop. And that's why I call the Eberflus effect. That is culture in the locker room. You know, a quarterback that didn't do this past week? Zach Wilson with the Jets. He said, would you apologize to the defense for any shortcomings? And he said no. It was a layup of a question. He could have just said, yes, we only scored 3. We get it. Obviously, I got to do better. No one would have talked about that question if he just said that, right? But instead he said no, and now everyone's talking about it. And now Zach Wilson is the devil.
he's the devil reincarnated.
Yeah, he's toxic. Get him out of the locker room. Joe Flacco going to get his second Super Bowl MVP once they start him again. That's what everyone's saying.
Hopefully that happens. I want that to happen.
Why would you want that to happen when the Eagles are probably going to be the team they'd play against? Like that is not what you would want to happen. But yeah, we can talk about a different game. I was at the Buffalo Bills Cleveland Browns game.
Oh, you were? How was that experience?
Pretty spicy. I will give credit to Jacoby Brissett for keeping them in the game for a while. Nick Chubb is a great running back, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the Bills were kind of like containing him pretty well. Jacoby Brissett was making some big passes that kept them in the game for a while, kept trying to make comebacks, but in the end, the Bills are just a different breed, and they just maintained their lead the whole way through. Josh Allen was shaky at first, but thanks to the field positioning battle from Nyheim Hines as the returner, everyone in the stands, every time he had a return, was just like, it was either cheers from the Bills fans or just like people in agony, which were the Browns fans, every time he returned, because, it's just one of those things where you have to be at the game or like really watch the game play by play to like really see someone's impact. You can't just look at the numbers. That dude was going all over the place. He was zooming. He was getting the field positioning. Those were my observations of that game. From where I was sitting, I was like at the goal line, kind of facing it. So that was cool.
Oh, that is really cool. When you sent some of those pictures, it was like crazy the positioning that you had. And I feel like watching it live like that makes fantasy so much more entertaining to like be a part of when you have like major like players like Nick Chubb in.
Oh yeah. I also had Gabe Davis, and in another league I had Donovan Peoples-Jones, who had a great game. Yeah, that's about it. But it was really fun. Yeah.
But it's crazy how that happened though, because that game playing in Detroit, because 6 feet of snow happened in Buffalo, in which they had to relocate to Michigan to play that game. And I just saw a lot of videos of like neighbors helping out the players, like having to literally like snow blow like 5 feet of snow out of their driveway. And it's just crazy to see like those footage. Like there's some that people that couldn't even get out. And another thing too, like the formation of the snowstorm like the colors that it like represented look like the Buffalo Bills logo in a little bit, just like in the areas of like it.
That was so stupid. When I saw the NFL repost that, I was like, this is the biggest reach I've ever seen. Like, yes, the color scheme is correct, but it didn't actually like look like the shape of the Bills logo. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny that they like reposted that. It was like, are they that stretched for content that they need to like repost that stuff? Like that's like such an NFL thing to like repost.
You know how it is. They're marketing geniuses overall. Like and I think a lot of that comes down to is like they have so much money, they can just like spew whatever the fuck they want, and what hits hits. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like, and they, they'll roll with what hits. And that's kind of just like how most companies navigate their social media. They'll just kind of just keep throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks. So
Throwing up lobs and Hail Marys.
yep.
We got a pretty important game this week in the Colts and the Eagles, in which it was a close game and in which it shouldn't have been a close game. I was pissed off. This is a game that the Eagles should have lost, and somehow they won, in which I feel like they had no place in winning at all, because it was like so many things went their ways, and if the Colts had a couple more plays on offense, then it would have been 27 to like 10 or 27 to 3. And we were getting blown out by the Colts. It was just so frustrating to watch.
I mean, don't say blown out. We were just, because I mean, scoring wise, we weren't doing that great. It was field goals mainly, but we were containing your passing game really well. I didn't get to really like see too much of the game. Obviously, I'm speaking by numbers here, just because that's mainly what I got to see. Since I was at a game during this time, but the Colts right now lead the league in yards allowed against like wide receivers, I'm pretty sure. So like, which was like a major area for concern last season, was like, okay, we need to get some veteran corners in here that can really take over this defensive back group. And Stephon Gilmore has been amazing. And a lot of other people have stepped up. Isaiah Rodgers is like, I think like PFF's highest ranked corner as well, like just per in relation to how often he's on the field, which isn't as often as like Gilmore and such. But yeah, I think we've made some like really big improvements in that area, and I think the pass rush has also been pretty consistent. Ngakoue has finally had like a really good game. I think he forced a fumble against Jalen Hurts, which not a lot of those from Jalen Hurts ever, really. I think he's been really good at protecting the ball, which you should be if you're going to be like a dynamic running quarterback. Yeah, that was really impressive from him. I'm not going to talk about the Colts offense much because it was just the same struggles as usual, and Eagles defense is just really good anyways. So I'm not really like pressed about that. Nothing new there. I just thought it was very interesting, like just the Colts defense really just like proved how legit they can be, because it only seems to come out against the best teams in the league. We've the season lows against the Chiefs and the Eagles both being 17 points. I think that's like really impressive. I don't know why we can't just be consistent against like our divisional rivals who are not great. I don't know what the deal is, but because even our run defense is like pretty good. It's not bad. It was only bad against the Titans. I don't know what happens there, but yeah, I think a lot to be like excited for going into the future, as long as like all of our veterans don't fucking hate us by that time. And the only thing left I have to say about this is Nick Sirianni's passion about doing that shit for Frank Reich. And I agree. I didn't like how Frank Reich got fired. I still am going to like be happy for Jeff Saturday's success and all of that, but I don't like how it all played out in general. And I just love Nick Sirianni. I always have. He was my vote for Coach of the Year this year, which I think he's basically like unless they go on a huge losing streak, he's going to get it, right? Like, I think we can agree with that. I've always liked him. I actually went back and looked at the video we had where I like told you everything about Nick Sirianni that I knew. And I think that was like one of our more successful videos. And I'm just like, yeah, I was right. Everyone just thought he was a goofy nerd, but you know, he's more than just a goofy nerd. He's very, very passionate culture guy that is also super smart as far as like offenses go. And that's all I gotta say. I'm happy for the Eagles to get the win because overall I don't really like want to win at this point. I just want to see what the fuck happens. Yeah, I think I'm glad that the Eagles got their win after losing to Washington, and lots to look forward to next season for the Colts. I feel as long as we like fix O-line and other shit, I think defense is solid.
On the Eagles side, the main thing that I'm concerned about right now is how many turnovers we're committing because it's, like, yes, all the past two games with Washington and the Colts, the announcers have not been stopped talking about the turnovers, and they do have a point because Eagles only had all three offensive turnovers in the first 8 games, but then they ended up having 4 against Washington and then I believe 2 against the Colts. And it just shouldn't be happening. I mean, I guess we're bound to have turnovers. Like it's kind of rare to go throughout the entire season with only like 3 turnovers or like not too many turnovers. I guess a prime example is like Aaron Rodgers always having two interceptions, 4 interceptions, but I feel like you can't go throughout the entire season with like under 5 turnovers. But having 6 total turnovers in the last 2 games, that just can't happen for a Super Bowl team. Like you can't win like Super Bowls and you can't win playoff games turning the ball over, and because we can't control the game that way. We can't control time of possession. We can't score, obviously. It just stops momentum. And yeah, I'm just really happy that the Eagles were able to bounce back, even though it wasn't just in the fourth quarter towards the end of the game. But yeah, that's my main concern. And my other biggest concern was that Eagles run defense, in which after the first drive, when the Colts went down and scored a touchdown, I was like, oh God, here we go again. We're playing against Jonathan Taylor. Like
They clutched up.
they definitely did. And I was like, holy shit, like Jonathan Taylor's about to have like 250 yards against us, like 3 touchdowns. Like if that was the first drive and he already has 45 rushing yards and a touchdown, like ain't no way we're going to stop them. But they clutched up and only allowed 44 rushing yards since then. Since that point, which Sue and the other guy that we got, I think he was on the Los Angeles Chargers for a while, and then he was on the Vikings for a little while too. So they immediately started to play, and those definitely helped a lot and showed the impact of that they were able to stop the run towards after the first drive. And I think that that's really what like won us the game, is being able to stop that like rushing defense and focused on like stopping Taylor and kind of forcing Matt Ryan to throw. And I feel like that's what kind of got us out of certain situations and only led to field goals comparatively to touchdowns.
Yeah. So I think last year during Jonathan Taylor's obviously like really big year. I think one of his or if not like his very worst game was against the Buccaneers because Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh. And so I think that was like a pretty big like I don't know call out from I don't know whoever made that call in the Eagles organization to ultimately get Suh. I imagine it's the general manager, of course, but whoever came up with that, like I think it's just good to have that veteran presence that is used to playing against a certain player and has shown success against them, and also is just like a great athlete in general. Suh is a fucking beast. Say what you will about his personality or whatever, like regardless of that, he comes to play every game. And I was shocked that he was still a free agent. Like I feel like some of these teams could you really use like a big time run stopper like him, and I don't know why he was still a free agent. Like, sure, like maybe it's a locker room thing. I don't really know, but maybe he was asking for too much money, and then eventually he was just like, "Fuck it, I'll just join a Super Bowl contender." I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, but Eagles got a good one there. I mean, even if it's just situational like that, that's going to matter a lot in the playoff stretch. Like, you know, when it gets colder, maybe you have to like go into some stadiums that are snowing. Running is going to be like the primary objective. Like, that's going to be huge.
100%, 100%. And yeah, that just makes me more confident, especially when Davis comes back, because I think I don't know when he got hurt against the Steelers, so I think he's gonna come back in the next like 2 or 3 weeks, and that's gonna be a scary defense to play. And yeah, that makes me a lot more confident about that defense. I just hope that the offense can figure its shit out and figure out these turnover issues, because like AJ Brown had a fumble, which I'm sure you were happy about, Titus, to see. But just because of him being a Titan and everything. But yeah, I just love Nick Sirianni's passion, and like he was like screaming up at the Colts fans and stuff. I forget. I don't know what he was saying, but
He basically said that shit was for Frank Reich.
okay. So
Like literally, like that's what the video that surfaced recently. Like everyone was saying, like, oh, he was really just going up to the Eagles fans and saying some shit, but right, it was actually the Colts fans. Like that shit was from Frank Reich.
yeah,
You can hear it very clearly. And then even in the press conference, he was like basically like referring to the fact that he was very unhappy with how Jim Irsay handled that. So, and just saying that Frank Reich was he basically like compared him to like being a father figure, which was like, whoa. But I mean, I think that's also a very big tell that like Nick Sirianni was not up for any other head coaching gig the year he got the Eagles job. And so you have to imagine like Frank Reich played a really big role in that. Just like, you know, being an Eagles alum himself, like just advocating for him. I think that's pretty important to like note, because like even Eberflus, our defensive coordinator at the time, who's now Chicago Bears head coach, he was getting more head coaching like interviews during that season. And I mentioned like I was surprised that Sirianni got one over Eberflus, considering our defense was kind of the like more successful branch of our team that year. But yeah, very happy for Sirianni and all, you know, the success he's had. And he's right. He's absolutely right. Talk your shit. I mean, even though he only put up 17 points, like lol, but still,
yeah.
I'm glad he got the win. The win's a win. The win's a win.
Yeah. And I want Jalen Hurts to be more angry. I like not more angry, but like they kept like cutting to him throughout the game, and you just saw how pissed he was. And I'm like, yes, be pissed off at how you're performing.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he
Yeah.
like didn't show any anger. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Well, I
Because
mean,
there's, do you know the Kemba Walker thing?
no.
So Kemba Walker, I mean, I don't know if he's on a team anymore or if he like plays a lot anymore. But back when he was like on the Celtics, there was like a huge thing where every time he lost, he was like smiling and like going up to the opposing team's players, like shaking their hands. Like never really seemed to ever be like mad or sad about the loss. And like people hated him for that. So I was worried like, oh shit, is Jalen Hurts doing it? But okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good that he was mad. That's good.
Yeah.
I like to see that too.
Yeah, because like he was just like doing his Jalen Hurts thing where like he was trying to keep like a smug face on, like just try to act it cool, but you could like tell like he was fuming. Like he was fuming in his like own way. And I'm like, yes, use this anger to like propel us into the playoffs and like have a playoff run, because I don't want the Eagles to be coasting in by all means, and I want to use these last two games as like, hey, like a wake up call. And I think these last games are gonna be a wake up call that we needed, and kind of like
next one too.
Yeah, fuck. I want to beat Aaron Rodgers so badly.
I feel like it's his game. We'll get to that later, but I just have a feeling like, oh shit, he's about to pop off for some reason. Like I think it's setting up for it. but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. But next game, we got the New York Jets versus the Patriots. And good old God, what was this game?
We talked a lot about this.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about much more.
I talked about the return touchdown, Zach Wilson. Yeah, we're also on that time crunch, so just thought I'd keep you aware.
Yeah,
I mean, very shitty game. It was 3-3 until last second return touchdown, but I mean, both defenses are that bitch. Like, I'm not that surprised, honestly.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say like one fact, and then we can move on. But like, the New York Jets averaged 2.77 inches
Yes, sir.
play in the second half. That's so mind-boggling. Like, how does I'm so confused. But yeah, it was just a rough performance by that New York Jets offense, and boy oh boy do they need Brees Hall. But yeah, fuck the Patriots.
No, they just need like consistency because Zach Wilson has not been consistent. He showed a really great game last week, but not this week. Playmakers also been inconsistent. Like, I don't even think it comes down to Brees Hall. I think maybe they'd get an extra field goal with Brees Hall, but yeah, because I think the Patriots defense is just that good. They could have won the game, but I think it's just an all around offensive like struggles that we've seen for a while. Like, some games is really good from like Garrett Wilson, Michael Carter, even fucking Tyler Conklin. Like, who the fuck is that? But at the same time, it's just like I don't think anyone has been very, very consistent on that team, even like when Joe Flacco was kind of going off. So now they're reconsidering who's going to be the starting quarterback. I don't know if I agree with that decision of like putting that out there, like, oh, it's still like an open investigation, not investigation, but like decision about who could be the starting quarterback week by week. I think you just got to stick with your young guys, Zach Wilson. Like, just let him get better.
Yeah,
with all those young guys. Like, obviously, like what he said in the press conference was dumb, but he's young, whatever. Fucking tell Joe Flacco to slap him or something. I don't know. But still start Zach Wilson. I think he's talented enough to like get over that hump. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he's gonna mature a little bit too to get past that too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think he needs to get smacked on his face a couple times.
Joe Flacco just
yeah.
That's all you need.
Boy oh boy, the next game. New Orleans Saints versus the Los Angeles Rams. I predicted the Rams. Titus predicted the Saints. And boy oh boy, do the Rams look bad this year. They're 3-7 now. They lost 27-20 to a team that's not even trying to go for anything this year. They kind of, I feel like Saints are doing a little tank season, or at least definitely like a rebuild season. And it's just, this is like one of the biggest flops or Super Bowl hangovers that I've seen in a while. And it's just crazy. Like I predicted the Rams would have a Super Bowl hangover, but I did not predict that it would be this bad of a Super Bowl hangover by all means. And I don't think anyone did. And they just don't have any heart. And it's
no heart.
No heart.
Ouch.
Yeah.
You went there, dude.
I went there. I'm sorry, I got it.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, they just got so many star players and so many good pieces. I guess Cooper Kupp.
You didn't have to go there.
But like,
no, I agree. I think they got a lot of stars, and we can keep saying Super Bowl hangover. What does that mean? What is actually going on to like really cause this? And I just think a lot of teams are just used to him. Like, I don't think anything they did last year was necessarily like, unstoppable. Like, obviously Cooper Kupp, great playmaker. He still continued to be this season, but they just managed to like work around it. Still managed to like get the offense to slow down a little, even when Cooper Kupp is getting going, because the rest of that offense is kind of exposable. And like, their run game was also not very great last season, even through the playoffs. So I don't think anything has like necessarily changed. They're just like not throwing Jalen Ramsey's way. They're still double teaming Aaron Donald. Like, you just can't keep depending on your players. I think it's mainly a coaching thing. Like, yeah, like obviously if it was successful before, try it again. Why not? But at this point, I think you have to realize like You gotta mix it up now. You gotta get some other people, different looks. You gotta coach around all of these like different adjustments that people have been making. I just don't see any adaptation to everything else that the other teams have been showing them. And I think that's concerning because I usually really respected the coach. You know, I see him in those soup ads and I'm like, that's a guy I'd love to play for, you know? He just seems like very, very a good voice, good commanding voice of the locker room. But recently I just haven't seen him like do much. It just seems like he's just trying to coast on the star players that he brought in and is giving big contracts to, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah, I agree. I miss the the old McVay.
Yeah,
The
Sean McVay.
I was trying to do the one Kanye song, but I forget the words.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was,
you would have to change the words anyways. It wouldn't.
but yeah, I don't know. I miss that old McVay spark that he had when he entered the league for the first like couple of years, and when he went to like that first Super Bowl and stuff. I don't know. There's a spark about him that I'm not really seeing this year in the past couple of years, which is a shame because that team was such a fun team to like watch the past like half a decade, and yeah, it's not really there.
I mean, I also will say like the roster changes this offseason have been pretty substantial just from, you know, losing their starting left tackle of a long time. Like that's going to hit a team every time. Like it's always going to set you back. And then also OBJ was just such a spark through the playoffs that you just can't replace. Allen Robinson is not that guy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I really hope they manage to get OBJ back. I know he's like visiting with other teams like the Giants, I think the Cowboys. Yeah, a lot of teams that are contenders. So I hope they manage to win him over, but I don't know. I don't know if OBJ would want to sign with them right now, just from how things are going.
Yeah, if I were him, if I were him, I would sign with the Giants for memory's sake.
I think that'd be cool. Yeah. Also, wide receiver just got injured. Another wide receiver just got injured on Giants, so they desperately need him.
But speaking about the Giants, you got the Detroit Lions beating the shit out of the New York Giants. We got the I get you there.
Nice.
Got the Lions destroying the New York Giants and 31-18. And yeah, this was Javonte Williams had 3 rushing touchdowns.
Jamal
Williams.
Wrong Williams.
Wrong Williams. I get them mixed up for whatever reason. Yeah, this definitely exposed the Giants a lot.
I think the offense is really just showing like the issue in the passing game, having lost a lot of their playmakers and just, you know, not really having a lot of receiving playmakers in the first place. Yeah, I think the Lions had a good plan of exposing that, and they did. Even Hutchinson got fucking an interception. Why is he getting interceptions? Why is this a rookie defensive lineman getting interceptions? Makes no sense. Make it stop. Yeah, I think Lions are now on a 3-game win streak, and against teams I did not expect them to win against, or you wouldn't expect them to win against. Maybe if this was like last season, maybe they're getting into the conversation of getting that wild card spot. I don't know. It's getting to that point where you might just have to give it to them. Like it could happen.
Just imagine if they like won some of the close games earlier this season, like the amount of points they put up, like that team would be scary. I guess they did put up a lot of points too, or let up a lot of points, but still, this team next couple of years, telling you, they're gonna be something else.
Oh yeah. Jameson also coming back to practice now. That's a big deal. Another playmaker for the Lions. When you thought they had an unlimited amount, can get even more than that. Just another guy coming in. A young quarterback is going to be really happy once they finally decide to draft a quarterback there. That is exactly what you want coming into the league. A young running back that can do it all in DeAndre Swift. You know, still battling through the injuries, but, you know, I'm sure eventually he'll get over it. Another running back who's consistent at the goal line, Jamal Williams. 2 down by down wide receivers in Reynolds and Amon-Ra St. Brown. a dude you can throw a long one to, Jameson. And then the line is also pretty good. So yeah, lot to work with for a young quarterback, whoever it'll be. Might not even be this draft. Just looking at their record right now, I think they're outside of the Stroud campaign. But
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what moves they make and where at in the next couple of years. But we got Baltimore Ravens taking care of business against the Carolina Panthers 13-3. And this was a lot closer game than I was expecting it to. And it was tied 3-3 for a while until the Ravens kind of finally pushed through towards the end and scored 10 points. But I was thinking this was going to be a dominant performance by the Ravens. I thought they would be able to, I don't know, pick up speed and just put up a lot of points. But yeah, it's just seems like their offense kind of stalled a lot and they couldn't really get anything going. And thanks to a struggling Panthers team.
yeah, Lamar Jackson has no one. I don't blame him. I mean, I obviously still think he could elevate the team in some way, but it's just so hard with all the injuries that the Ravens continue to face year after year and the talent he has overall. Like Mark Andrews is great, sure, but he hasn't been too present due to injuries or not. So yeah, I think just bring back some playmakers for Lamar Jackson like he had his MVP campaign and let him cook. But right now it's not the same. It's not the same team he had before. So defense is helping him win, of course, and he's controlling the game, obviously. They're doing well with like time of possession and all those random stats that aren't very flashy, but still important to the wins. I mean, they're still 7-3. Give them that credit. But
a struggling 7-3.
yeah, just the least flashy 7-3 you'll ever see.
Yeah. But yeah, not much to say other than sorry, I got a little hiccup in my tummy area. But yeah, next game is Washington versus Houston. Washington took care of business, and Taylor Heineke is now the starter for the rest of the season. Carson Wentz is benched for the rest of the season, and yeah, Washington is looking good for the past 3 games. They beat the Eagles. They took care of business in a dominant form. And like Texans, I mean, it is the Texans, but they won. They beat the Texans how they should have beat the Texans. And this was a trap game for them. And now they're 6-5 and they're good position to get into the wild card spot now. And they have full control over their destiny now. And they're in a really good spot. And we could see an instance where all 4 of the NFC East teams enter the playoffs, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes, because
it's not gonna happen, but interesting for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Giants are 7-3, Cowboys are.
It looks good now, but it's not gonna end that way. I'm just saying.
What? You don't think the Washington's gonna last throughout the rest of the season, or Giants downfall?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, I've seen some shit, all right? I think you can really crumble in this final stretch. And I think there are some other teams that are starting to get going, like the Buccaneers, like even the Falcons, Lions. I don't know. It's going to be close.
Most definitely. I feel like it's going to come down really close to the last game. And that's why I'm really happy the Eagles won this last weekend, because like they're 9-1 and now they have like a couple games ahead of the Vikings and a few games ahead of like the Cowboys and Giants. So that was
every game counts right now.
Yeah. And yeah, that was a big win for the Eagles. But yeah, Washington keeps going, and yeah, I don't really want to talk about them because like the only biggest news out of this game was Carson Wentz being benched for the rest of the season. I feel so bad for his career like trajectory, but like
yeah, the Wentz trade will go down as the worst trade in Colts history. We trade them to the Washington team, conditional second. We don't even get that. It's just like, come on, come on.
I forgot about that. I completely forgot about
the fucking snap bullshit. Like, why would you negotiate that again? It just doesn't make sense.
It
So-
doesn't at all.
Oh,
Um,
man.
But we got an exciting performance with the game with Raiders versus the Broncos. It went into overtime. It was tied 16-16. And Patrick Surtain just decided to put down his controller and stop playing football. And yeah, Devontae Adams got wide open for his second touchdown. I think it was like a 50-yard bomb or something around that range. And he got 2 touchdowns, got me 30 points in fantasy. And he's on a roll the past few weeks. And yeah, he's looking really scary.
This is why I think Devontae Adams is still the best wide receiver in the league. As long as you just don't look at the stats, like use your little mouse, your trackpad, close out of the NFL stats page, and just look at the game for a second. Devontae Adams makes every young, talented cornerback struggle every time. It's just he's so good, and I think it just does not get appreciated at all. Just everything he can do on the field, and just bringing Raiders back into like contention. I mean, they're far out of it still, I guess, but like at least on a game by game basis, like they always seem to struggle at some point in a game, but he is always the type of guy that just like puts them on the board with some crazy ass play, and that's all he does. He just fucking makes plays against every team against the Colts, and that's fine. So I think we just gotta appreciate him for who he is, and I think Surtain is still probably like a top 3 corner in the league. It's just, it's just one of those things. Like, it's hard to be a corner in this league. Like, wide receiver is probably going to get the edge on a corner. Just like an average wide receiver against an average corner, like wide receiver will always seem to have the edge no matter what. And I think that applies at the highest level and the lowest level. Like, it's just really hard to be a corner. And when someone is that good at taking advantage of the shortcomings of a corner, especially with all the offensive penalties, I mean, the offensive biased penalties, I guess, like it's just really hard for defense to like get away with anything, I think you just got to take all that into account. And that's why it's so important when the other team gets the ball, this being the Broncos, that they also have to match that same energy with some sort of play that is just like, keep yourself in it. And Broncos just don't have that. They even fucking said goodbye to fucking Melvin Gordon, get the fuck out of here. So now they're working with, I don't even know who at running back at this point. Latavius Murray? Oh God. It's just rough. Listen, he's good, but he's not like a true running back, like a number 1 running back, like on the depth chart. Like, I think he's a good like number 2 that can come in when he needs to, but he can't be starting him every game. Like, it's not gonna work.
What do you mean? He's literally the best running back in the league. He's like, it goes him, then Derrick Henry.
Now, if Marlon Mack gets elevated from the practice squad on that team, then now we're talking. All right.
Yes.
He hasn't played a fucking snap all year, but
He will. And
let him. I promise you, he will not disappoint. I don't know why teams keep like playing with his emotions. Fucking Texans. Sad.
Texans.
I think Marlon Mack's a good running back. I don't know why he's been on the carousel recently. Just give him a chance.
I agree. Yeah. That's something in my eye there, sorry. But yeah, Marlon Mack should be the starter for any team in this league.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, with Javonte Williams out, like, give him the go ahead, but like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's not what I mean.
I was just being
anyways.
facetious,
Yeah, I know.
Dallas. We got the stupid boys versus the Vikings.
How do you feel about them boys?
Gotta give them credit where credit's due. They destroyed a good Vikings team, but
Are they the best team in the league?
no.
Are they best defense in the league?
No. I'm not gonna give them
The Colts are, right?
Yeah, the Colts are.
Baby.
Colts are the best defense. Eagles are the best offense, and Cowboys are somewhere in between.
True.
But yeah, this was a very good overall performance by the Cowboys. The Vikings could not get anything going. That defense for the Cowboys is very scary. Like, every time I looked up and was watching. I was watching this at Chickies and Pete's, and I looked every time I looked up, and the Vikings were on offense. They always like Kirk Cousins was always getting sacked, and or like it was always a loss for like 5 yards. I'm like, how are they have no like willpower right now, and the Cowboys were like, let's just keep putting gas on the pedal, and they's got this is like their second game this year with 40 plus points or 40 points. And yeah, it's just that offense is scary when they're cooking. And I'm excited for when the Eagles play them because like I want to beat this Cowboys team again with Dak Prescott and with all their pieces to show that Cowboys ain't shit.
You want to know a fun stat
What's
on
that?
the note of Dallas getting 40 again?
What's that?
There are only 2 teams that haven't allowed a team to get over 30 points on them. One of them is the Colts. You want to know who the other one is?
The Eagles?
The Packers. You thought.
Wait, what was the Eagles score?
Didn't they let the Lions get over 30?
Yeah.
I think there was another one too, but I can't remember.
So I could have just muted my mic. I was just,
Commanders. They let the Commanders as well. They got 32.
oh fuck, I forgot about that. That's so stupid. That last fumble shouldn't. That's so stupid.
Oh yeah. Whatever. Get
But
fucked.
yeah, fuck the Cowboys. And yeah, Vikings aren't shit either. Like it's they're not Vikings aren't as good as they are, but Cowboys, I think, for what their record is as good as they are.
They'll have a fun playoff game, but that's it. That's what the Vikings will amount to.
yes.
It won't be a miserable playoff game. Maybe they'll still lose, but
Yeah. But you got Cincinnati Bengals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got the Bengals, close one. They very high scoring, 67 total points, but you got Bengals winning 37-30 in kind of a shootout fashion. Got Najee Harris destroying, running up and down the field, and yeah,
finally,
he's been doing something.
I don't know what happened too, because that Steelers offense should not be allowing that to happen. That O-line, anyone else who is responsible for blocking, like Najee Harris just never has any opportunities, and somehow they managed to get it to him. I guess it was just like play calling was really strong that week. Bengals didn't prepare for that facet of, that team. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was an interesting game. I think Joe Burrow. What are they? They're on a win streak, right? Like they're going in. I feel.
I didn't pay too close attention, but Tyler Boyd had 2 great catches on the Bengals' final drive to allow them to go up 37-30, and they had a very great ending drive.
All right. I guess they don't have that big of a win streak. Yeah, they had that really weird loss against the Browns. But other than that, they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they've won 4 of the last 5. I think that's pretty good.
I agree. But then you got Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. What a game. Wait, what? Why did you give that hand motion? Oh. I just like looked at you and you were just like that's I thought it was like you were annoyed about something, but you got
No.
Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Chiefs did it again. Kelsey
So sad.
Kelsey has to be the best tight end. Like he's making a case for the best tight end in NFL history right now. And
Oh, I thought you were just gonna stop right there. Best tight end. I was like, yeah, I think we settled that. But in
yeah,
history,
yeah.
I think it's still an open case. Just because if we're talking about like Super Bowl wins as well, I think that is. Usually people take that into account as well. I don't know. I think he's a great like statistical tight end. Like you look at his stats, it's like sheesh. People always show you Gronk highlights, and it's like Kelsey can't do that. But it's also like okay, but Kelsey is like really consistent at what he does do. I don't really know if like Gronk was like every down had as much influence as Kelsey does, but it's also been a while since I've seen like Gronk in his prime. Kelsey's prime seems to be more sustained and longer. So I don't know. I think it's a fun argument to have. very spirited, of course, on Twitter right now. As far as I know, there's only one tight end that is still playing right now. Gronk is retired, so
Yeah.
let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about the fact that he's the best in the NFL right now, and it is not close. I
Mhm.
think that's good enough, personally.
Yeah. I agree. Because if Mark Andrews, I guess Mark Andrews hasn't been in the league, but if he didn't like fall off, I would say maybe Mark Andrews is kind of close to him, but he
Not
definitely
even last year, dude. I'm sorry, but like the play was just so different. Like
Yeah.
even before the injury, I don't think Mark Andrews was even close to like what Kelsey was doing the past 3 years. Like
Yeah.
Mark Andrews is great, don't get me wrong, but still, it's like it's night and day.
Travis Kelce has 7 total touchdowns in 2 games, which is absurd. But yeah, like they just kept going back and forth within this game, and yeah, it was a wild win. It was a wild finish, very tight game, and yeah, I just feel bad for Justin Herbert at this point. Like,
True.
yeah,
I mean, it was interesting. Like all of his wide receivers were healthy, and then all of a sudden now is the time Josh Palmer pops off, even though he had the other 2 games without the other wide receivers to pop off. I was like, okay, now you decide to. Obviously Keenan Allen still had some like really big plays and stuff like that. This isn't to say Palmer was the only one getting going, but it was just like it was so weird. I don't know. I benched Palmer just thinking like, all right, his time is done. And then he popped off and I traded him away while he's high. Got David Montgomery. Did you see
oh
that?
yeah,
Boys
I
and
saw
Noisy
that
Boys.
too.
I was like, sure, you can have him. It's not going to happen again, though. Josh Palmer's time is done. I'm sorry. It's just, it won't be sustainable once Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, they're only going to get a week healthier over this week. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got for this game too. Moving forward to the San Francisco 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals. What a fucking ass whooping. Like every facet of the 49ers like offense popped off. Like Kittle had 2 touchdowns, 2 long touchdowns. Debo had a touchdown. Ayuk had 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey was popping off in the run game and in the pass game. Garoppolo, if Garoppolo, if your defense can make Garoppolo look like fucking Tom Brady, then that's absurd. And there's like I think it was like the last Kittle touchdown. Boy, oh boy, like the Cardinals were just ready to go on that bus and head home because like they just
They looked disgusting.
yeah, they just like stopped trying. Like I feel so bad for DeAndre Hopkins because like he's the only highlight on that team right now. I guess maybe AJ Green, but Hopkins, he's just carrying the team. And if it wasn't for him, this game would have been so much worse.
Yeah. Do you remember when the Cardinals played the Saints on like Thursday Night Football and they got the 2 pick-sixes against Andy Dalton and everyone was like, "Oh, the Cardinals defense, they're underrated. Everyone give them their respect." Even like Trey was saying this. Like he walked in the room, he saw a couple clips and he's like, "Cardinals are underrated." That's all I'm saying. I'm like, I didn't see it the same way because if you watch the rest of that game, the Saints were just going down the field like it was nothing. I don't know. Like I've always just been very pessimistic about this Cardinals team. I just don't like the coaching. I don't even know if I like Kyler Murray at this point anymore. Something's wrong there and I can't really figure out what. I think DeAndre Hopkins is like the lone like highlight to me right now. Which I didn't expect. I didn't think he'd be as good as he has been, which trader's remorse in the fantasy. Yeah, that's what you're smiling about. Yeah, I think it's kind of a bummer because I think they had that really good run. I guess it was only last year, right, where they started off really strong. Like now they fucking have their fucking hard knocks in season show. It's gonna be so depressing. Like the Colts were depressing, at least that like last episode, but at least we had a good run leading up to that. I can't imagine like any episode of this in season Hard Knocks is any good because it's just been sad.
It's so bad.
Maybe just DeAndre Hopkins highlights, but that's it. That's all I can think of.
It's going to be a DeAndre Hopkins highlight, and then it's just going to cut to Kyler Murray and the Cliff like arguing, and it's just going to be the main time. It's just going to go back and forth. But yeah, let's get to this. Oh, and I also was 10-4 in predictions as well, which is pretty
You
good.
did a good job, yeah. We
Yeah.
had a lot of disputes, and you took 4 or 6 of them,
Mhm.
which is
Pretty rad.
I'm down bad now. Your lead is only growing and growing.
Slowly growing and growing. Can I three-peat?
God damn it. It makes me so mad.
I'm the Michael Jordan of predicting.
Okay, calm down.
I'm joking. But yeah.
We're still both under like 0.600 overall. Like I think we're
Yeah.
just both bad, and
Yeah,
you're
we're
just
just
not as bad.
yeah, we're just both really bad. But
I'm
yeah,
gonna keep the MVP race short because honestly, not a lot to talk about here. I think everything is kind of the same overall, quarterbacks wise. The only thing that really to note is I moved Tom Brady up to 7 and kicked Lamar Jackson out completely. Like he just doesn't have the numbers. Like 7-3 is great and all, considering like your talent options, right? I think Lamar Jackson's like fine overall. It's just like we gotta have that like those flat.
oh no, you froze. Fuck. He froze. I was doing my predictions and he froze. Hello? 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 Maybe he's gonna call me. Wait, I don't even have my phone on me. Where's my phone? I think I got my phone. Fuck. He called me. Oh wait, no. Someone else called me. Wait. I have to text him that he froze. Now my Wi-Fi is not working. I think my Wi-Fi, since I'm on the other end of the I'm on the other side of the okay, he left and he's gonna come back on. I'm on the other side of the router, so I think it's just super slow with it. I'm like, you froze, and then he shouted back, you froze. Wait, hold on, let me figure this out. What we were so close and ending too. We had like I have to leave at like 4:50, it's 4:30, so we have like 20 minutes to do this. Oh no, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. I don't want to stop the recording. You just stopped that MVP race. Oh, he's finally in. Okay. There you go.
I can't believe you froze.
I can't believe you froze. Whoa, I wonder.
I could still hear you after you're saying you froze, you froze. I'm like, bro, I can hear you.
I didn't know that you could hear me.
It's
like I
what are you
couldn't
talking
hear
about?
I couldn't hear you, so it was just you froze with nothing. It was just nothing. It was
I
just
can still hear you. I was like, what the fuck is he going on about?
I'm sorry. But I was like, you froze. I didn't know if you talked, if you could hear me or not, but
Right.
technical difficulties. I blame my Wi-Fi because I'm on the opposite end of the house.
True.
But so MVP.
Yeah. I was just talking about Lamar Jackson. Did you hear any of that?
No. I think you just started talking about Lamar Jackson and it froze.
Okay, I was just saying that Lamar Jackson needs flashy numbers to support his MVP campaign, and he just doesn't have them. So I took him out.
Hmm.
I think he's still a good quarterback that has been allowing for this team to still be 7-3, but it's just not enough to be MVP. You have to have those flashy numbers to support it. Like if you're doing a presidential campaign, you have to have the good marketing. And right now, I don't think he has it. What else we got? I also added Travis Kelce and the tight end position to the whole like positional MVP stuff, just because tight ends don't get a lot of recognition, and I figured he's going to have like a good case for offensive player of the year, I imagine, by the end of the year. So might as well just have him in there. I doubt anyone's going to kick him out of the spot. It's it's a lot to catch up to. He has the most receiving touchdowns, even out of like wide receivers, by the way, and like running backs. He has the most receiving touchdowns and the most receiving first downs. Pretty crazy. He's 5th in yards after the catch, and he's tied for 5th in receptions. So give my man some respect. All right. I think a lot of these like wide receivers like Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill are above him just because they are wide receivers and they do get like more of that volume as far as like receiving yards and like receptions go. But I still feel like his influence is just as prevalent as theirs. And Justin Jefferson slowed down against Dallas Cowboys. Tyreek Hill, we'll have to see what happens with him. Maybe he'll just continue down the same path he was where he left off. But yeah, we'll have to see. Also, I put Derrick Henry back into the mix. He took over first in rushing yards once again. Also has the most attempts as he has had. He's second in rushing touchdowns and second in big runs. Then I had Tyreek Hill back in the mix because he's first in receiving yards. He had a bye week, but Justin Jefferson was so underwhelming that I just had to take him out. So
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill didn't even have to do anything. It was all Justin Jefferson's fault. And then finally, the defensive MVP is Matt Judon. Once again, I think he was on here like 5-6 weeks ago. I don't even remember. But Matt Judon, because he's leading in sacks and quarterback pressures, and he has a forced fumble. All anyone wants to talk about is Micah Parsons. I can understand that, but I don't see Micah Parsons with the fucking league leading in anything. You know, I don't think there's one stat I could like point to and be like, Micah Parsons is dominating the league in this. Obviously, he's a really great, well-rounded player, and he deserves that nod. But I mean, Matt Judon's on pace for like 22 sacks, which is only half a sack behind the record that Watt and Strahan has. Okay, so just gotta put that out there. Respect for Matt Judon, and I don't even like the Patriots. So if I'm saying that, everyone should be saying it. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, everything else is the same. You got Geno Smith at 6. He had a bye week. Josh Allen at 5th. He had a decent win. Joe Burrow at 4th. Decent win. Jalen Hurts at 3rd. I think his win was impressive, but I think, honestly, it wasn't enough to put him over like Tua, who had a bye week at 2nd. And also, I feel like even there's some separation there. I feel like Tua and Patrick Mahomes are dominating that lead right now. And Jalen Hurts is slipping a little. Obviously, Tua, we know what he's been doing. And then Patrick Mahomes against the Chargers, dominant as always. So, I mean, yeah.
I agree with you. And I think the only separation that why Jalen Hurts was pulling away was because of those turnovers. And yeah, he has what, two fumbles and 2 interceptions in the last couple of weeks or something crazy like that. So I think that's why he was pulling ahead, because his stats aren't that crazy except for his rushing. But yeah.
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 Let's speed run these week 12 predictions.
Yes, sir. We got the Thanksgiving game starting in Detroit against the Bills, who have been here for past 4 days because they can't really go anywhere.
Yes, sir. And yeah, I'm going to predict the Bills. The Bills.
Me too. I think after that embarrassing Vikings game, they're just gonna go on a little run. And also Lions led up like the most receiving yards, and it's Josh Allen he's got Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. At least one of them is popping off. That's all I know. Fantasy owners, beware.
And
we got Giants going to Dallas. I got Dallas here. Yeah, I think that matchup is just so bad for the Giants right now. Just where they're at right now, particularly, I think it's going to be rough.
I think the Giants are going to go on a little losing streak here, and I can see them going 7-7, honestly. And
Whoa.
I just think that this Giants team is one of those posers that you're kind of speaking on earlier too, where you don't really like trust the NFC East, and there's like other players and stuff. And I think they're going to tank.
Damn.
But hey,
all right.
7 wins.
Then the primetime game, we got Kirk Cousins in primetime against the league best defense. In my eyes, at least, I think they've proven it time and time again that they just shut down any opponent. Except I guess Justin Fields at one time. But we won't talk about that. Who do you got?
I got the Patriots. I think primetime Kirk. Never trust primetime Kirk. Ever. Wow, I got Minnesota.
I do.
I just think you said it best. The Patriots are the best defense in the league, and I just think they're going to shut down primetime Kirk. I predict that Kirk Cousins is going to have 2 interceptions.
Put that down. Put it down. 2 INTs. Kirk. All right. I actually think that last game against the Cowboys was a little humble game, and it's just I don't see it happening 2 times in a row where that offense just doesn't figure it out. I think Justin Jefferson is gonna have a little game. I think they might even get Dalvin Cook going because he was kind of rough last game as well. Maybe get Madison in there on some downs. Like, I just think they're gonna mix it up a little, and they're gonna slightly get the edge over the Patriots. I think it's still gonna be close, low scoring overall, but I don't see the Patriots having the same luck they had against the Jets. You know what I mean? Like, that offense is not good. Mac Jones is not the guy. Ramondre Stevenson at running back, like, sure, he gets some good games, but I just don't think it's consistent or sustainable. They're not going to get another return touchdown. It's just one of those lucky things that happens every now and then. And it's cool when it happens, but it's not going to happen back that game. So I'm going to say 4 field goals minimum.
I need to pick up a new kicker because do you know the one that I have in our fantasy league got me -2 points. Is Joseph still in the league or still available? And Raver's gonna pick
Gregory Joseph, you already know who has that guy, the Vikings guy. You already know.
Yeah. So I got Tampa Bay versus the Cleveland Browns. I got Tampa Bay because fuck the Browns, and I think
Damn.
the Buccaneers are on a roll, and I think this is the part of the season where we see the Buccaneers get hot, specifically when we see Tom Brady get hot. And I think, yeah, they're just going to continue this win streak, and that defense is scary. Do you have the Browns?
Nah. I really wanted to, though, because it's going to be Jacoby Brissett's last game, and I like Jacoby Brissett. But I just think Tom Brady's he's starting to go on a roll. He had a good bye week to, get everyone a little bit healthier. That's always nice to have one of those late bye weeks where everyone just gets a little bit healthier, can catch up. And I don't think the Browns are going to throw anything at them that they can't handle. They're the best in the league against the run, so Nick Chubb shouldn't be an issue there. Yeah, I think it'll be actually like a dominant game for the Bucs. I can see it.
Then you got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Tennessee Titans. I think the Bengals are going to win. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, and Drew Burrow's just going to go off against that Titans defense. He's going to be throwing dimes to every which way. Boyd's going to have 5 million receiving yards. Mixon's going to have 3 rushing touchdowns.
Jamar Chase might be back.
Jamar Chase is going to be back.
Might
be back. But yeah, I just think this is going to be a dominant performance.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Mixon involved. I think actually he might be out, so never mind. I forgot he got injured. Yeah, I think they're going to get some good offensive luck this time, and I think their defense will clutch up when they need to, just because against the Steelers they let up too much. They let up too much from that run game that never happens with the Steelers. So I think they're going to be a little bit more aware against Derrick Henry, especially against Derrick Henry. It's fucking King Henry. So
yeah. I agree. They got Miami versus Houston Texans. I got the Dolphins. Come on, easy.
Give me the Dolphins. This is an easy one. We don't even gotta talk about it.
Tyreek's gonna go off.
Tyreek Hill for 200 yards.
Yes. You got the New York Jets against the Chicago Bears. The Jets are going to win, but I think it's going to be very close. I think that defense is going to be able to shut down the Bears offense, and I think it's going to be a running performance for this Jets offense, and I think they're going to run all over the Bears, and that's what's going to win them for them, is that running offense. And yeah.
Could be. I also have the Jets, but I don't know if it'll be dominant in the run game at all. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. But what I will say is that Justin Fields kind of got a little injury going on right now. He might not be the same guy where he can, just be running all over the place. He might return to be just a one-dimensional passer. So that's going to be really bad for the Bears offense that has been depending on that multiple dimensions to his game. So I think it's going to look a little rough for Chicago as long as he is not 100%.
I agree. And then you got Washington Commanders versus the Atlanta Falcons. I got Washington in hopes that Falcons win. I I don't know.
Give me ATL. I just think the Heineke bullshit has to stop sometime. I can't support it. Fuck it. I don't want it.
I don't want it either, and I don't know. I just see it going like a couple more games and then fizzling it out. I don't know. I'm just getting that vibes that it's going to last a couple more games, and this is going to be a slugfest. And I think Washington is going to have a couple players go their way and win.
Word. I hope not.
Denver.
I want Atlanta to get going. I want them to be a sleeper for that wild card spot. But yeah, we got Denver going to Carolina. I'm sorry, dude. I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Trey.
Yeah, this was honestly I don't know. This may be my upset of the week. Not gonna lie. Like
This is not an upset.
Okay.
Neither way it goes is an upset in my eyes. They're both the same record, essentially.
But I don't know. Like this is Broncos are bad, but Panthers are bad. This is honestly a coin flip. I'm like Denver. Someone has to win this game. Someone
Oh, no, not necessarily. They could tie.
tie 0-0.
Broncos have lost all their overtime games, so I just think it's just one of those years where the Broncos just have no luck and they're just going to be trash.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a couple of things are gonna go over their way. Oh no, you froze again. You probably heard me. You piece of shit. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. So I got Denver because I think a couple of plays are gonna go their way. Crap, he's gonna have to log back out and log in. Why couldn't literally we were at the end. We were so close. What if I just run through it and just I'm gonna impersonate Titus. I'm gonna see. He didn't text me yet. I'm going to. Alright. I don't know. Why does this have to happen? Literally 2 minutes before we were about to end. I don't understand. Now it's going to take him like 5 years to join. But I guess I'm going to go over the next game. So I think he already said what he was going to say about that game. But Baltimore versus Jacksonville Jaguars, I have Baltimore because Jacksonville Jaguars are just they're bad. And I feel like the Baltimore Ravens are not on a roll necessarily, but I think they're due for an offensive performance that's bound to get them back into an actual 7-3 look. And yeah, I just think it's going to be this game. I think they're going to have a huge offensive performance that I think is going to kind of catapult them into winning games offensively and not just defensively against teams that they should. Let me see if Titus did not text me, and I don't know if he's not on in like 2 minutes. I think I'm just going to go down for my predictions and then just reveal his. I just don't know. I don't know. I guess I could talk about fantasy real quick too. So fantasy, I won fantasy. I beat Brendan 122 to 105, I think. And yeah, I have a 91% chance to make the playoffs now because I think I'm 7-4 and Brendan's 6-5. So I have a game ahead of Brendan now. And yeah, my team's finally doing good. I'm so happy that I'm actually doing good in this league now because it's been a while since I've been doing good. I hear Josh in the bathroom. Why isn't he fucking joining? Why is it taking so long? I just wanna end this podcast. I have a 10-minute walk. I have a 10-minute walk to get my hair cut. And it's 4:50 right now. So I gotta be there at 5. I don't know why I said it at 5. I don't know. Okay, I'm putting my wallet and keys into my pocket. I don't know. What if I call Titus and then that's how we do it. I'm just going to text him. The Wi-Fi sucks. Well, I have to go soon. Or like now. Well, I'm just gonna ask him, should I reveal the rest of your prediction? Okay, so I'm going to reveal the rest of his predictions. Okay, so I revealed the rest of his predictions. And so I'm just going to speedrun this. I'm not even going to say why I have it since Titus is not here. So yeah, I have Baltimore beating the Jaguars. We both have the Chargers beating the Cardinals for obvious reasons. We both have the Seahawks beating the Raiders for obvious reasons. We both have, so I have Kansas City Chiefs winning. He has the Rams winning. It'll be interesting to see what his reasonings for that is. I'll have to ask him the next time. We both have San Francisco being the Saints for obvious reasons. I have Eagles winning. He has Green Bay winning. Fuck you for that, Titus. And we both have Indianapolis beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then he has a little comment in which I'll read out loud. 5-game win streak in prime time. Last loss was in overtime against Ravens, and our kicker sucked. That was his comment for why he picked the Colts. So yeah, that's it. And he just texted me, in which I'll read. I'll read out loud. He says, "Go back, go pack, go." I'm going to reply, "Fuck you." Lol, 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 lol. You always have to repeat the lol for extra emphasis. But yeah, that's the podcast. I have to rush to get a haircut now. This is last. I'll do a little spin because it's the last time you see my long hair. Mom, I'm finally getting a haircut. If you actually make it past this point, Mom, if you watched all the way to this point, comment, say good luck with your haircut. I don't even know. By the time I see you, all right, I'm just gonna end it. Bye.